All right, welcome everyone to the Peak Performance Summit, creating harmony between mind, body, and nutrition. I am your host, Keith Lockwood, and I am here with the amazing Rachael Ross. And she is a celebrity personal trainer and owner of Concierge Personal Training, an in-home and online personal training company. She holds a bachelor's degree in kinesiology with an emphasis in physical therapy and is the author of Your Past Is Not Your Future. Rachael has been featured on USA News, Good Morning San Diego workouts. She travels across the US helping people break free from joint pain and discover a healthy way of living. So, welcome, Rachael. And do you have anything else that you want to add into that?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the introduction. Yeah, I know I have enjoyed doing speaking engagements or just locally here around San Diego as well. So I've been doing that for a while. I love it.
Awesome. There we go. Well, let's jump right into the questions. So, I know some of these things I have questions about, and I'm curious to know. So, I know all of our listeners are also going to be super pumped to hear these things because I know a lot of people deal with these type of things that you focus on. So, first off, why did you get into home personal training, and what was your inspiration to even get into it?
Yeah, it started when I was really young, high school, college age. I was really close to my grandma. She was absolutely the best friend I ever had. I still kind of, you'll notice I get a little choked up when I talk about her.
Yeah.
But she was always in a lot of pain. She was a super active person. She loved walking. She would do 5Ks and she would compete in the 80 and over category. And there would only be three women in the category, but she would be like, "Well, I beat those other two ladies."
Yeah, there
I
you
mean,
go.
she was feisty and, and I just love that about her. And, when she started dealing with health issues, she wasn't herself and she couldn't do all the things that she loved doing, which was walking every day, exercising, being active with her grandkids, all those kinds of things. And so when at that time there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't all the online resources we have now.
Yeah.
When I went to school is when I really learned how I could help her. She had it's just a series of issues. And so I started helping her diet wise. I mean, she was my first unwilling client. I started helping her with exercises and therapeutic type exercises. And that's when I really found my passion and my calling because I saw her get better. I saw her then return to the person that she was and just have a new lease on life. Our thing was going to thrift stores and we could go to thrift stores again. And that was like every
Yeah.
week her and I went out to thrift stores. So that was our what we did. And so I thought, if I could, I didn't know I was gonna, turn it into a book and a speaking in a huge company and all these different things. But once I saw that transformation in her life, I knew that that's what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And so with that, like going into all that, obviously you didn't know that it was going to turn into all those things. But was it something that you felt like you just had to do once you started? Like the speaking and all that stuff? Was it more of you sharing your message and getting out and supporting other people? Because at that point, did you know that, your company was going to be what it is today?
No, at that point I had no idea. And when I first started, I knew that I was passionate about helping seniors and I feel like, grandparents and parents are the hub of families. And when those people are not functioning at 100%, the whole family suffers. And so I felt like the way to make the biggest impact is by helping these people, lose weight, feel better, have more energy,
Yeah.
and be able to break free from pain. And that's basically how my company grew, was by doing these things for people. But it was more than that for me. It was watching the transformation, watching the people's lives transform, that let me know this is my passion, this is the place I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. So we've mentioned your company a few times now. Can you tell us a little bit more about your company?
Yeah, so Concierge Personal Training is an in-home and online personal training company. So we service adults that are looking to either break free from joint pain, gain better strength and balance, lose weight, get more energy. We also have Zoom online personal training, and then we have in-home massages. So in-home massages with the table and massage servicing the San Diego area. So we have the in-home personal training and the massages for the San Diego area, and then the online Zoom training is what we're really focusing on now.
Yeah,
Because I would love to bring this message to a more global audience. I've seen so much transformation and so much change with the hundreds of clients we have here in San Diego, but this is something that can be done easily by anyone,
yeah,
anywhere online, and a lot of things you can do yourself. So if that's something that people need, which most people I think deal with a lot of pain. I mean, joint pain, it nags on you, it wears on you, it decreases your energy, and you don't even realize it, how much of an energy sucker it is.
yeah.
That if people can get out of that, I believe people want to exercise, people want to live healthier lives, and they'll make better choices if they have the energy to do it.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, what sets you apart from other personal trainers and minus the actual, delivering that in-home service, what, how are you guys innovating, that service?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's different about us is that we include the therapeutic type exercises as part of our personal training. So, what I was finding when I first started training people is I thought, oh, people want to just get in shape. It'll be it'll be fun, it'll be easy. But what I was finding was like 80% of people, 90% of people are dealing with some sort of pain in their
Hmm.
life: back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, nagging calf pain, cramping. There's always some underlying issue going on. And that's usually what was preventing people from continuing to exercise. So, what I first did was sort of use my physical therapy background to hone in on, okay, how can we make this better? How can we decrease this amount of pain? And I use something called myofascial release, a
Hmm.
myofascial release technique. So self myofascial release is when the person does it themselves, and we use things like household items, like a baker's rolling pin, or sometimes people own foam rollers, or sometimes we'll
Yeah,
take towels and roll them up on themselves, and we'll teach people these therapeutic exercises in order that they themselves can release a lot of like their back pain or their shoulder pain,
hmm,
and then they can continue exercising for long periods of time. So we found that when we went to people's houses or online, if people could get out of pain, then they exercised for longer. So it really helped us, with retention, and it made it so that people could stay healthy for a lifetime.
yeah. And so with that, like in-home delivery, and it's different because it's not virtual. You still have to have some type of, I feel you still have to have some type of like willpower to like log in and jump on. So with the in-home, like, okay, your personal trainer, therapist is coming to you. You have no choice but to work out. Do you
Yeah, I can't
find
get
that to
away.
be a little bit more, um, what do I want to say, like better for your clients to stick long term with the workout programs?
Well, what's good about the online is that it's scheduled, so you're held accountable to the time. It's just like a regular, just like an in-home appointment. You get an appointment
Mhm.
reminder, and then the trainer is calling you like, "Hey, don't forget to log in. I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
waiting for you." And people are like, sometimes you see them log in, and they're on their phone, and they're like, "Oh crap, I'm just like I forgot
yeah,
about you," and they're putting stuff together. But it still gives that level of accountability that you still have a scheduled appointment that that you've got to be there for. But yeah, the in-home training, they're not getting away from us. We're like, "Hi, we're here." And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're here. Okay, I guess I'm doing this." So, yeah, but I mean, we try to as much as we can create the accountability online, and and then too we'll have them, take us around on the phone. Okay, let's go around, and if there's somebody that's doing weight loss or whatever, we'll do a cupboard check, or
Yeah.
whatever they wanted, whatever however they want us to be involved in, as
Yeah.
part of the weight loss process. We're like, okay, let's go look in the fridge, let's see what you're doing, and they're like, oh god, here we go. They're taking you around.
Yeah.
It's great. Zoom and technology, it's been something we added in 2020, and something that's helped us a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely great because we were kind of like shoved into this space,
Right.
especially with like COVID and all that stuff. So we were kind of like forced into it. But now that we got like the ground laid, we're like, okay, this is perfect. We can use this to our advantage. Um, so how can, the one of the main things you said, most people want to work out, but they're dealing with some type of joint pain and things like that. So how can clients reduce joint pain?
Yeah, so what I was talking about, so it's something that's called myofascial release. So myo means muscle, and fascia is the tissue that comes to collect between the muscles, and it looks kind of like it's a white fibrous tissue. It looks like a spider web. And so what that does is it basically grabs a hold of the joint and pulls on it. And a lot of times people will think like, "Oh, I have a bad back," but oftentimes it's the muscle underneath it called the piriformis that is like literally tightened itself up, like people call it knots or balls, has
Yeah,
tightened itself up, and it basically is pulling on that joint, and causing pain. So what we do is we take something like, for instance, like our pin roller here,
yeah,
and we either use it like this in like a more for like a little more of an intense setting, or we'll do something like we'll wrap a towel around it to turn it into like a makeshift foam roller, and that gives us a great amount of intensity, and we'll use this in order to increase the range of motion in the muscles, and we'll use this to loosen those muscles up so that they stop pulling on the joints.
oh, I like it. So
Yeah.
and you kind of went into it like what causes the joint pain, but is it do the like things that we eat and also like create more reasons for us to have joint pain?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a two-part system in that we teach the exercises, so the therapeutic type exercises using things like this. We have massage guns for the in-home people, but
Mhm.
we recommend everybody getting one of these. I mean, they're $10. It's just a pin roller, or
Yeah,
usually people have one. But yeah, the other component to that is the utilizing an anti-inflammatory diet and keeping the foods that you eat more alkaline and less acidic. So, as part of a free ebook that I wrote, I have all these different food lists and recipes for people, because honestly, it's my belief that people want to eat healthier, but it's a very tricky when you go into the grocery store
yes,
and they try to trick you to buy their products, and they're like, "Look how healthy we are," and
yeah,
it's really not healthy. And so I have a list of gluten-free, grain-free type products that help to reduce inflammation, and recipes, and then different meal planning ideas, so that people can go in more empowered and know, okay, buy this product, not this product, and so on. So just kind of labeling it all out and getting a good list going, you can feel, more secure that you're actually buying good quality products.
yeah. No, I love that. And yes, it's so true. Like going into the grocery store, it's so tricky because you're trying to weed through like what it is, and then you have so much things on the internet going out. Like there was a study like a couple years ago about eggs, eating too
Yeah.
many eggs is bad for you. And then it's like now it comes out it's like actually eating eggs daily is good for you. And it's like
Yeah.
so it's like all the conflicting things out there makes people just stick to what they know, and it's the easy stuff, and it's those processed foods, and even though they know that they're bad, but it's like I know it's bad, so they know what they're getting when they're eating it, instead of trying to
Yeah.
figure out, is this bad or is it part bad, part good?
Yeah.
So
It's so tricky. Well, and I think too, like, not only that, it becomes overwhelming, So it's like, oh, do I have to just eat raw food, And how am I
yes.
how do I prep that? And everybody's like, well, you can't have packages. So, you have to just make everything from scratch. And if you're not
Hmm.
like a gourmet cook, you're like, well, that sounds
Yeah.
really overwhelming. I'm not the biggest cook. And so I'm like, that's too much. So what I try to do is just make it as easy as possible for like people, working parents,
Yeah.
like my husband and I, that have small kids that, that don't have a ton of time, to be making, I mean, it would be great if you had a lot of time and you could go to the store all day and then make homemade meals
Yeah.
from scratch and then
Yeah.
prep that, but that's not really realistic for lots of people. So, I try to make 15-minute meals that are good, healthy, and easy to make, And I think if
Yeah.
you kind of overwhelm people by being a little too extreme, it turns people off and then they're like, okay, this is too much. Even I'm turned off and I'm like, that's too much. I can't do
Yeah, exactly.
it.
No, it's definitely it's yeah, that's food is one of the big things where people start falling off because they don't know what to eat, and then you got all the different diets. So now going into a little bit more of an interactive exercise, like can you show us a short demo of how we could loosen neck muscles, for instance?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, perfect. So I love this one. So we take our makeshift pin foam roller and we do something like this. So we can take it and go behind and start to loosen, like you can see here. I'm just loosening up. These are called my scalene muscles here. So I can loosen the neck muscles up here and I can go back here, and this is called my sternocleidomastoid, and I can loosen this muscle up here. Now you just don't want to push on the spine itself, so you don't want to go directly straight. You always
Yeah.
have it slightly angled, but you can see I can get all the way onto the top of the shoulder here, and I can loosen this here. And it's just such a nice exercise, and you'll immediately feel the blood start to flow into your head. It really feels good. And a lot of times people that get tension headaches, this can really help to alleviate tension headaches. You can keep this at your desk, and just do it, on your lunch break or, whenever you have a minute if you're working from home. Another great one is to loosen the chest muscles this way, so you can just put it right in front of you, put it right below the shoulder and
Mhm.
loosen. This is the pectoralis minor muscle down a little lower and the pectoralis major muscle just up a little bit higher. And you just angle it off the clavicle bone. So the clavicle bone's located here. You angle it off the clavicle bone and underneath, and you'll feel that this really opens up the shoulder. A lot of times what happens with shoulder pain, and neck pain, is that the chest muscles are too tight, basically, from us going like this or looking down at our phones all the time.
Yeah.
And then the chest muscles get too tight and they basically pull the whole shoulder and neck forward. So, what we're trying to do is really open up the chest muscles, loosen the neck muscles, in order to alleviate a lot of that pulling and a lot of that pain that's going into the neck. And then the last one that I can show you from this angle is to lay down on your back and put the pin roller lifted up, and you want to have it sticking out. And then if you visualize, I have the pin roller between my scapula bone, which is my shoulder blade,
Hmm.
and my spinal column. So it's not touching either bone, it's on the muscles located between the two. And then I'm going to make shapes with my arm. I'm going to go I shape, T shape, and Y shape. So I'll do it from the front. So it's I, and then T is out, and then Y. So these are called ITYs. We famously have done them for a long time in physical therapy with foam rollers, but this time we're using the pin roller. And of course, if it's too intense for you, you can wrap the roller with a towel. If it's not
Hmm.
intense enough, you can lift the butt up off the ground and then put more weight on the roller, and that'll make it more intense. And then another thing you can do is kind of go up and over the roller and hit the top of your shoulder, and that'll really loosen this. This is where people really get it right here. Are
Yeah.
these muscles, located right on the top of the shoulder, and that really helps to alleviate any tension here. And we get a lot of that tension from obviously typing, or like we're looking, most people, it's like we're looking on a phone or we're playing on a computer and it's down low.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so just some great exercise. Another one would be to be like in a doorway and stretch through the doorway. So you put your elbows up on the doorway and step through and really stretch and open up the chest. Or if you want to get the pectoralis major, the lower, that's for the major. And then for the lower pectoralis minor, you just lift your hands higher and then stretch the doorway. And then that makes a huge difference in opening up the chest. And even right now, I can feel that like the blood's flowing to my head and it feels really good. You're like, whew.
Yeah.
It actually feels really nice. So, I mean, and just, a simple 10-15 minutes of using the roller yourself, you can loosen these muscles up and get more blood flow to your head. You can alleviate neck pain just by utilizing these simple exercises.
Awesome. And then while we're on it, I'm just gonna ask because I'm prior military, so I know a lot of people in my community that I speak with deal with lower back pain. So can you just touch on that one really quick also?
Yeah, for sure. So that one a little harder to demo on the computer, but
Yeah.
if you have the rolling pin, what you can do is lay on your back, and then if you want to start it this intense, you can. I also suggest a softball for that one too, as well.
Mm,
So you can take a softball or you can take this, and of course you can roll it in the towel. And then changing the size of the towel is going to change the amount of intensity. So if you
yeah.
want it to be a little less intense, I mean, usually with the back, we have people start with the towel on. So if you want it to be a little less intense, you do like a hand-sized towel, or or something like that, where it's got a little more padding to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what you do is you don't want to put it on the spine. You want to put it, let's say it's the left side of the back. You want to put it on the left side of the spine. And then you want to put it on kind of like your hip, right below so let's say this is where your belt is. You want to put
Hmm.
it right below that belt line. So you want to put it there. And then basically you're going to lay on your back. And then very easily, once you're laying on your back, you can slide it underneath your butt and put it right below the belt line. And then you're going to take your knees and you're going to rotate outward. So it's just on your left side. It's below the belt line. So there's the line for your belt. And
Yeah.
you're going to take your hips and you're just going to rotate to the left. So if it's on the left side, you're rotating to the left. If it's on the right side, you're rotating to the right. And then if you can, you'll try to lift your legs up off the ground, and that will really intensify it. If you can't, then you'll just leave your feet on touching the ground. So if you leave your feet touching the ground, it's going to be easier. If you
Hmm.
lift your legs up, it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to make it a lot more intense. And so what that does is it loosens the piriformis muscle, which constantly pulls on the low back. Now, with the low back, there's a lot of different things that it could be. It
Hmm.
could be a lot. I would say the piriformis is number one. That's usually what we see. The second most common is something called the psoas muscle. It's spelled PSOAS, and basically that muscle is only accessed from the front side of the body, and it's loosening up the psoas muscle from the front side of the body. So a lot of different things with the low back itself,
Hmm.
and then you can also take the pin roller and put it on the side of you, so more like to the side. Like let's say you're somebody that has a little more trouble getting on and off the ground. You can
Yeah.
take the pin roller and push it and put it on the one side of your back that's actually bothering you. Like you saw me do it. I had it on this hand, and then I took the other hand and just reached around my back and grabbed it from the other side, and then was able to roll the pin roller on my back itself sitting. But it would be more effective if you were laying down on your back and had it underneath you
Yeah.
like a pin roller. And then basically same, you would just rotate to that side. The only thing you have to just be careful about with this is that obviously that it doesn't hit the spine, that it doesn't go onto the spine. But a lot of people get just a lot of relief just from doing that. daily. And you don't even have to do it daily. If you did it 3 times a week, 2 times a week would be
Yeah.
better than not doing it at all.
Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
give you a lot of relief. Definitely.
Definitely. I'm gonna try that one myself.
Yeah, you gotta try it. And then, I would also say order a softball too, because what's great about the softball is it can get where this can't get. It's going to be a little more pinpointed. It's
Mhm.
like the level two of this. It's like the next level up. But you're going to be able to get into the hip with the softball, and then you'll be able to get with the softball right next to the spine. The softball can kind of go a little more places. And I
Yeah.
would just get like a standard one of the yellow women's softballs.
Hmm.
Um, like a standard size, and that works wonders. And basically you lay on your back and you put it right underneath your hip, and then you can rotate around on the hip itself, and on the piriformis, on the glute muscles, and then you can also look at the front side, like the very top of the leg, the very top of the quadricep. A lot of times it's those muscles there, which is called your TFL muscle, your tensor fascia latae, or the very top of the quadricep. A lot of tightness in there too. It helps to alleviate the low back as well.
Love it. Yes, full of all the techniques. I love it.
Yeah, so much.
So with that, now when people do have, you know, joint pain and things like that, so like obviously you have to focus on those things first and kind of, lessen and get to eliminating those. But then from there, how do clients gain better strength and balance?
Yeah, so I mean, we find that first off, you've got to get rid of the nagging pain. You've got to, you know, get all that situated. The person's doing that regularly. They're doing so much better. Then you can get into the strength training portion of it, which is, I mean, gaining better strength and balance. Balance comes from usually better leg strength and something else called proprioception. So it's twofold. One, we gain the leg strength, and we can start that by doing seated exercises like seated leg lifts. Like basically, you're sitting and we're just lifting the leg, and that's all, up and down. And we'll use something like that for somebody that's had knee replacement or
Hmm.
hip replacement or something like that, where they can't do a lot of things that need a lot of mobility. So a lot of different options for leg strengthening. Of course, there's like a wall sit or lunges, just starting to get basically build the muscles back into the legs. Most people know that you need muscles, you need the muscles to build, but what a lot of people don't know is that muscles will build at any age. You
Yes.
don't have to be young for muscles to build. Muscles will build when you're 90. And your body, when it experiences excessive load, like when it feels like it's being worked, your body will create new fibers at any age. As long as you're alive, your body will create new muscle fibers. And that the new muscle fibers basically make up something called a myofibril inside of your muscle, and then it will continue to create more and more myofibrils, and then that's how the muscle grows larger. So, we number one, we create larger muscles, and then number two, we do something called proprioception for balance. And what that is basically the body's ability to contract and fire the muscles in different positions. So
Hmm.
when your body feels off balance, it's how fast your brain can signal to that particular muscle to contract and fire. So you don't realize it, but to do every single movement that we do all the time, your brain is having to send a signal from your brain to the muscle and get it to react. So the proprioception is the amount of time it takes for the brain to basically send that signal to the muscle. So what we do is we do practice balance exercises. Like a great one to do would be to stand in a doorway, hold on to the doorway, and stand on one leg if you can, or stand on holding on to the sink in your kitchen, because it's a great place to stand where you can hold on and stand on one leg, and then go two fingers holding on to the kitchen sink, one finger total, let go, and then let your hands hover there and see if you can do it. So in that way, your brain gets trained. So you'll notice the first time you do it, your balance is all off. You're like, whoa, I
Yeah.
can barely do this. But it quickly learns, and the second time you do it, like you're trying to do it for 1 minute, okay, then you stop. Then you do it again for the second minute, your time increases, and it always increases by like 30%. So let's say you can only do it for like 3 or 4 seconds. It's going to go way higher, it's going to go way higher the second time. It's going to be like 20 seconds. Your
Yeah.
body learns quickly. Okay, that's what he's going to do. He's going to throw me off. I need to get this firing going. And that practice of getting the muscle fibers going and getting that signaling going is what makes your balance better.
I
But the
love
muscle has to be there in order for you to be able to do it.
yes. And so and that's something like when you're practicing those things, like how often do you want to do those things?
I mean, as often as you can. So if you have, bad balance, preventing, from falling is definitely, gonna help you.
Crucial.
I mean,
Yeah.
so I mean, if you could do it every day, that would be great. But doing it twice a week is better than doing it no times a week, So as much as you feel like you can. So we try to tell people fit it in somewhere like when you're brushing your teeth, so that or something that signals you already, like something that you do in your day already that you don't have to carve out extra time to do because you're already going to brush your teeth twice. So you're standing
Yeah.
there, you might as well do a little balance exercise and hold on to the sink and just start brushing your teeth and then see if you can let go.
Yeah.
Like you're doing it anyway, you might as well add a balance exercise in.
Yeah, definitely. So it's just taking those exercises and movements and incorporating them into your daily routine. Something
Yeah,
that you're already doing, that it's you don't even think about, like, so like you said, brushing your teeth, you can stand at the sink and you brush your teeth for at least 2 minutes. So that's plenty of time for you
right.
to, balance a couple of times. And even if you fail, you can still redo it a couple of times. So that's awesome. Just taking those things, and one time, is better than no time. So
Right.
don't think that if you don't do it 5 times a day, every day, that you're going to get it wrong. Um, Even one time a week is better than you not doing it at all.
Exactly. And you'll be surprised, like I'm in my 40s and I noticed that some things that used to come so easy, I'm like, oh, that's going. I need to add that back in. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh crap. Like, oh no, no, I need to balance. I need to do more.
Yeah. And so, and with that, like, just obviously we're here to support and, hold people accountable and things like that. But how do clients stay motivated to keep exercising?
I think it's about making small changes, just making small, what they seem like very small, insignificant changes. Buying one different product, one different healthy thing off the food list, or adding in this small exercise. If you are disciplined enough to hold yourself accountable, these tiny little wins will make such a difference in your life. Like I would tell people, think of it in terms of like money, it's like, well, you're like, well, I'm only investing $5 a day. Well, $5 a day times 7 days times, 4 weeks times this, you've got thousands of dollars, by the end of
Yeah.
it's cumulative.
Yeah.
And like let's say, you meal prep and you get these noodles that are only 5 calories a pack. I always, if you can quantitatively put anything, and then that will make your lunch 300 calories less for 3 days a week that you're eating noodles. So that's 900 calories. You're at a weekly deficit of 900 calories. Well, 2 weeks of that, you're going to lose, you're going to almost lose a pound just from that one change, and then you think about that accumulating and adding on to itself, it makes such a huge difference over a month's time, 2 months time. It's gonna be life changing for you. So I think it's about that. I think it's about holding yourself accountable to the small changes that you make, and just nobody knows but you, but getting basically those small wins are gonna make such a lasting impact in your life, and that's really what keeps people motivated to getting to like their ultimate goal. Keith, are you there? Hello. Hey, did you get out?
Yes.
Okay,
So sorry, my internet went out, and then I had to switch to my hotspot. So what you
no
were
worries.
saying as it cut out was, you know, we were talking about the noodles. So if you get 5 calorie noodles, it's 900 calories less, so you're in that deficit already.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think it's about, really figuring out why you want to work out in the first place, like letting that be your motivation, figuring out your why. Why are you doing this? Are you doing this to have more energy to play with your kids? Are you doing this to be attractive to your spouse? It's got to be true to you as a person. Um, and then going from there, okay, what small changes can I make? What can I be consistent with? And then basically holding yourself accountable to those small changes. I fully believe in living like a 80-20 lifestyle because
Mhm.
nobody lives 100, not even us, not even the fitness
No,
people,
no,
so you strive for the 80-20, and then maybe you'll land somewhere 70-30 when you're first starting, or if you get to be in the fitness realm, you'll land at like 90-10. But you have to have that 10. You have to have that 10 in there as part of your plan so that you know that it's okay and it's not going to make you backslide, like
yes,
if you're going out to dinner and it's your anniversary, have a glass of wine, have a few bites of cake, like you don't need to eat the
yeah,
whole cake, but eat a small piece, that way you don't feel deprived. But
yeah,
then you know that this is part of your healthy living plan, so you're not failing, you don't need to quit, you don't need to start over. This is part of the plan, but Monday through Friday comes and you're back to your healthy eating, you're back to your meal prepping, you're back to
yeah,
buying your products, you're back to balancing, brushing your teeth. And that's what's gonna keep you moving forward, is that it just becomes a part of you and a part of your identity and a part of what you do. Then you'll adopt it as your own.
yeah, absolutely. And do you have any, tips for like today, something that people can like turn around as they're watching this, like something they can do that will shift like and start something, a pattern for them immediately?
Well, I would say the first thing you want to do is figure out your goal, like your why. Why do you want to do that?
Mhm.
And it can't just be, I want to look hot. It's got to be something that's true to your heart, like
Yeah.
what's going to keep you motivated with this. And then you can add in all kinds of things, like, so starting with positive affirmations. Um, I used to listen to David McGraw all the time, like the free YouTube positive affirmations, and you can listen in your car.
Yeah.
Louise Hay, I mean, all these different types of people that just start to positively talk about yourself, think about yourself in a positive way. Okay, what new products can I buy? I could download the ebook. I could get the exercises. I could start doing some of the exercises. I can, switch a few products here and there. And once I find the products that are right for me, I'm not going back to the old products. I
Hmm.
could throw this product out and add this product in. I could walk 30 minutes a day during my lunch break, but it's got to be real for you, and it's got to be scheduled. It's got to be part of your routine and something that you do. Let's just say you want to add it in 2 times a week. Be realistic with yourself, and your goal setting, and what it is you want to accomplish.
Yes, that's amazing advice. Amazing advice. So, as far as your company, what are the full like services that you guys offer?
Yeah. So for everyone, we offer a first free session. So a first free in-home personal training session, or a first free Zoom session online. And we offer the in-home personal training and the Zoom training. We are running a promotion with our free ebook, which has the videos, it has the recipes, it has the meals, the meal suggestions, it has the food lists, and we would love for anybody to be able to download that. We have the in-home massages and something else we call body work, which is just basically just the therapeutic techniques where we use the massage guns. And we have all kinds of different tools, not just the pin rollers, but we have things
Yeah.
called Theracanes and different things that we use to help people eliminate joint pain along with the exercises.
Awesome. And so now with that, where do people go to, get those free resources, contact you? How do clients get in contact with you?
Yeah, so we'd love for anybody to download the free ebook, or they can find us online, Concierge Personal Training SD.com. And then I'm sure you're going to list our contact information.
Yep.
Also, there's a pop-up that's on our website that people can get the free ebook from, and we'll also keep the direct link to the free ebook as well. But yeah, the we love for anybody to, even if you're just taking the free session, we'd love for you to start. Make you could just only commit to the free session, and then go from there. But we try to make it as cost affordable as possible. It's $30 for 30 minutes and $60 for 60 minutes, so that it's within the budget of most people. And you can have two people in the training session. They don't even have to be located in the same place. Let's say you and your sister want to do it together. You can be in two
Yeah.
different places, and then it's only $15 a person for 30 minutes. So it's definitely more doable, but you have the accountability and the fun of doing it live with the trainer. They're there with you in real time. They can
Yeah.
work on your form, help you diagnose whatever kind of issues you have with your neck, your shoulder, your back, show you what exercises to do, and then get you set up on a program that you can do at home, that you can do yourself based on what you have and your skill level of we want to make a challenging program for you where you're at, not for a 20-year-old. It's supposed to be for you, catered and customized to you. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so just getting started and starting to figure out your goal, and then why it is you want to be healthy, and then just giving you that little push, that little kick in the pants. Okay, here we go, and just getting it
Yeah.
started. And then they're as involved or as uninvolved as you want them to be. Like I was saying before, we do the covered checks for people, or we have people download like something like the Lose It app and do the food tracking, and so then we can log in and check the calories and all that kind of stuff. So just holding people accountable, because if you know somebody's going to look at it, then you're like, "Eh, okay, maybe I'll
Yeah.
maybe I'll
Yeah.
do a little
Yeah.
better this week.
Yep.
Maybe a little less
Definitely.
wine here and a little more walking here." So
Yeah.
just being held
No,
accountable.
absolutely. I love that. So yes, and thank you for sharing all of that phenomenal knowledge. Like I'm someone that's in the space and I'm still continually learning and finding new things and tricks. So you shared some things with me that was definitely phenomenal. So I'm sure everyone listening is very thankful for everything that you shared today. So that is a wrap for today's interview with Rachel Ross, the celebrity personal trainer and owner of Concierge Personal Training in San Diego. And she is taking it global and
Yes.
reaching everywhere soon. So, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and being able to come on and talk about this very important topic. So, just thank you so much. And do you have
Yeah,
any
thank you, Keith.
words?
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
No problem. And we will be in touch. And everyone listening, thank you. That completes today's interview for the Peak Performance Summit, creating harmony between mind, body, and soul. Remember, just go out and do something different than you did yesterday. One thing a week, that's all that matters, is more than nothing. So, everyone, have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you soon.